Welcome back to another video everyone, wherever you are. Now if you remember in the last video we were on the island of Hoy, testament to powerful landscapes and coastal erosion. And Hoy has stood against the ravages of time and thousands of years of westerly gales and storms off the sea. And nowhere in Orkney are these effects better demonstrated. Now with the Came of Hoy in the background here, you can see that the coastal erosion is wider spread than just being confined to Hoy, but actually in the entire west coast of Orkney's shores on the mainland. And the North Isles are dramatic cliffscapes, interspersed with geos and rock stacks. The scale of this mass erosion is more easily accessed from the shoreline, from the Black Crade which is outside Stromness, to Birsey. Now the reason for this is a simple one. Orkney, it lies off the north coast of Scotland, is completely unprotected from the storms from the west, with the nearest landfalls being as far away as Iceland, Greenland and Canada. And when these seas build up momentum, well, they're unstoppable. How bad can they be? Well, I let you be the judge. Now I am out at a place called Yesnaby, which is on the west or the northwest coast of the mainland of Orkney, the big island. And I put my tripod down here, and one of the things that I remember from shooting here before is that it's really important to come around and have a look at the place that you're about to shoot on to make sure that there's no big overhangs. So just before I shoot and stand there, I'm just having a quick survey to make sure that it's actually safe. And I seem to be okay here because there's no big overhangs, which is fine. This vlogging is actually quite difficult because I've just set up the camera from quite some distance away, and now I'm walking back to where I've set up the tripod. What I'm trying to look at down here is some kind of view of the landmass that I showed you before, with this lovely ornate rocks in the foreground with the water moving around them. And around this flat part of the rock here, I've actually got some negative space with the water. And the negative space around the water goes round this big rock into what's called the Geo and back out to sea. And it really helps separate and isolate the landmass here and the big landmass here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up with my 45mm to 85mm lens on, which is the widest lens I have. And if I can just set up here, put that in the bag, make sure I zip that up, because I don't want the lens to disappear over the cliff like my friend Andrew Simpson did. And I'm just going to take a handheld look at what I'm seeing here. So what I'm seeing in the camera here, I'm seeing the rocks clearly. We've got some really weird square rocks here on the left hand side, which will be bottom left frame. But because this is a 45mm at widest, I'm going to have to do a 2-shot square Pano, which will be vertical in frame but side by side. So I'm going to set this up here, get this footprint nice and wide. I'm going to just heighten this a little bit because I'm not comfortable with the tripod not being sort of level here before I start. A little bit more. Now this is not a shoot which is going to elicit wonderful world-class shots here. This is just me getting back into practice, because what was abundantly clear when I've looked over the footage from the last two videos, I'm out of practice both with videography and also photography. So this is more me getting back into doing what it is I do after such an absence. So let me just set up here. So it's the base level first of all, and locked on, turn the camera on, and I will get the camera level across the top so it's level left to right. So that's me level left to right. There's quite a bit of dynamic range here, so I'm going to have to rely heavily on the fact that this camera can pull this down, but I'm going to wait for the sun, which is currently in my eyes, to go in behind the clouds, which are all moving this way, and we're probably a couple of minutes away from that, so that'll give me the time, I can hardly see, that'll give me the time it takes to set up and just compose exactly what it is I want to do here. I'll bring it back to F11 actually, and I will go I'm going to bring this to 8 seconds, so in that 8 seconds I want to see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that allows me to measure the movement that's in the water that's going this way. And then down on the rocks here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 seconds is maybe a bit long actually. Let me just take this up to 200 ISO. Four seconds. Okay, so that's me now just waiting on this cloud. So I'm probably 2 minutes away. Let me just check my focus, eh? There's the sun back. But I've got to watch the clipping on the horizon. So, framing up, we've got the left-hand side, left-hand corner of this, what will be this Pano, with a square rock in it. And then we'll take it over to the right. So standing clear, 4 seconds, F11, 100 ISO, and that's enough just to dull these waves. So light meter is taken, hand in front of the frame, and now my trick is waiting for the clouds and the water waves so I can try and merge them. So this is where the tricky part begins. I'm here on a really simple 2-shot panorama shoot. Should be simple, but it's made really complicated by the changing dynamic range within the sky and the sun disappearing and appearing behind the clouds right now, which is doubling and quadrupling my light when the sun comes out. So that's simple enough to manage, but I'm also trying to manage the movement of the sea here. And every body of water's got its own frequency of waves and volume of water that it carries with it. So I've timed this, and the wave pattern here is every 6 seconds. But every third wave is the wave that matches the volume of water. So it's a 3-wave repeating pattern every 6 seconds, so 18 seconds for each matching photograph. And again, that's easy, but when I'm trying to time this with the sun, it's proving quite difficult because I'm trying to do a 2-shot Pano. And I could do a single shot, but that's not a Pano. And there's lots of reasons I do Panos, and this one here, because of its complexity on a simple shoot, could well be the thrill of the chase. It could well be the slowing down the workflow to get the shot done. And I spoke in my big F11 masterclass about having patience with landscape photography, and I think this is a perfect example of exercising patience and just sticking to the plan. And all will become clear when I get the shot done. And looking back, it could have been made easier, but that's what we have. So bear with me. Okay, so the clouds are okay, and I'm waiting now in the waves. And I'm not looking at the LCD, I'm looking here at my scene because I know what I have set up. And there's a wave coming in here now, and so I'll try and time this. And here's the sun again. So I'm having a few problems balancing all the conditions. So although this is a really straightforward shoot, in plenty of light, it's the light today that's causing me some trouble. But no one said that taking landscape photographs was going to be easy. Because if it was easy, everyone would be here. And that provides some difficulties. The cloud's not far away now, and I'm just about, I'm going to have to take this shot because I could be here all day. We have 50% cloud cover today, which is causing the issues. I don't like shooting in high dynamic range, which is the thing just now that's causing me some metering problems. We're nearly there, and I'm watching the waves, watching the clouds. Come on, it's the bright bit. Okay, so we're going to get darker, dynamic range is going away, and I'm set up. Waves. And move this to the side, 50%. And at 50%, I'm just starting to introduce the cliffs on the right hand side here as well. So I've taken one whilst I'm waiting on the waves to be the same, because the light was the same, so it's light and waves all being different. So let me just try, here we are, and down, just as the light's starting. This is actually quite tricky. Yeah, the waves are a little bit different there. But I think I've caught it in the second one actually. Now I'm happy with that. I think I've caught that in the second one just before the light kicked off, and I'll do some manipulation on each frame before I merge them. That's really cool. Lovely part of Orkney. There's people everywhere, but it's a lovely part of Orkney. Love these rocks. These rocks are awesome. So I'm just heading out to the Yesnaby Castle, which isn't a castle, it's a rock stack. But I'm being greeted by these big black ominous clouds coming in overhead. They're really quite black. So it'll sort out the dynamic range issues I was getting on the last place. But the other problem it creates is we might get soaking wet. So this is not what I'm here to see. There's a stack just here, but what I'm seeing, which I'm not aware of having seen before, is this rock bridge. But there's no bloody way I'm gonna go and stand on that. Now this is what I'm here to shoot. And this is Yesnaby Castle. So again, just checking the under condition of this ledge before I go standing out there to take my next photo, and it seems to be okay. So this is Yesnaby Castle, from the side, and I'm not quite sure how long this bad boy will stand, because it's as you can see, there's a big hole at the back of it there, it's almost like the high heel of a boot. And from the side you can see it's actually quite it's quite a hefty rock. And a lot of people will take this photograph from this area here, but me being me, I took this from the other side some years ago, and I'll show you the photograph here just now. And I climbed out on this peninsula, a way out here that's currently pouring with water, and when the tide's further in, the area that's just middle of frame there just now, the back of that's actually a slidey, smooth table. So I climbed over up and down cliffs over here in the middle of frame, just in, see if we can show you, just in, can't see it with my finger, that can't do it, middle of frame there, and you climb down, you climb over that cliff, you go along the top, you climb down the back of it, down a second cliff with all your gear, and then you get onto this leading line down to the sea. And the second frame from the left in that photograph I've just showed you, in fact I'll show you it again, is soft, and it's where I kicked the tripod on the way past to the bottom of the sea, and I was simply saved by a very small fissure of rock on grippy shoes, because I think if my tripod had been left there at the back where you can't see it from here, I'm not sure they would ever have found my gear. So the archaeologists will tell you always to have your photographs tell a story, and I kept that soft shot in there because that's the shot that nearly killed me. So I'm on the edge of the cliff here, and as you saw before, I actually checked the under condition of this. But this is a long way down, and I'm actually quite close to the edge here, so I'm not going to spend too long here. What I'm looking at here is shooting this with a 45mm lens, or a 50mm lens to try and get as much dynamic real estate in as I can, both X and Y. And the beauty of being down here lower is that I can reach the horizon with the top of the rock stack. If I shoot this from up here, it's much higher. The rock stack sits below the horizon, which isn't as nice. I've taken this before when the sun was really on fire in the far distance. But that was shot with the Canon 5D on a very wide angle single shot. So it's windy, I'm a bit close to the edge, so I'm going to go and get the tripod and I'm going to set up down here, I reckon. Right, so that is me down at the cliff edge, and I'm probably about 3 feet or 1 metre away from the cliff edge, and it's actually quite windy up here. And I'm sitting down because I don't want to tumble over. So I can confirm that from down here I'm breaching the horizon with the top of the rock stack, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I am shooting with the 45-85 lens. Now, to save myself doing the maths down here, I did the maths up there, and it's telling me that I am 8 seconds at f18 at 100 ISO. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up here, and I've gone with the 6-stop filter to give me my 8 seconds. I think my original calculations were something like a 15th of 1 second at f11, which gave me an 1/8, a quarter, half, 1, 2, 4, 8, 4, 8. But I want to underexpose this a little bit, so let me push this to f20, which will just give me enough to be on the cusp of the proper exposure. But if I want to start with my baseline as being low. I'll just underexpose the whole thing before I start teasing things out that I want to see. Now this photograph here is all about the rock. It's all about the separation of the water around it, the separation from the land masses to the right. So there's no point in me introducing a foreground here really, because it's going to detract from why I'm taking this shot in the first place. And the 8 seconds here should be more than sufficient to be able to slow down this water. So let me just do this. The first shot on the left, I'm keeping the rock stack in it, so I've got some reference points when I come to merge this in post. And that's the first one done, and it's just enough to soften off the water. And then we'll take 50%, again with a reference of the castle or the rock stack in that first and second photograph for merging purposes. And in the second photograph here, I'm actually pulling in the rocks on the right hand side, which again gives me reference. But there's some lovely light falling on the rock over here to the right, although it's very muted up behind me. And I'm going to actually take that because it's introducing the white moving water towards the bottom as well, and that should soften everything off at 8 seconds. It's going to be quite a boring photograph this, because I have taken this before, as I've showed you, with lovely light behind, but this is the west, so difficult to take it because of dynamic range in a sunset condition, but no dynamic range here today. But this is not about me taking beautiful photographs, this is about me getting back into photography after such an absence. And the whole purpose of this video is to practice on camera here, practice taking photographs, as I say, because I'm rusty. And I want to get back to where I was before I stopped a couple of years ago. That's probably me all done from Orkney actually. It's been really nice. It's me done from Scotland because I'm heading back to New Zealand on Tuesday, which is in a couple of days' time. I have to travel down with the boat tomorrow. So you'll have more videos from me hopefully when I get back to New Zealand. Really good being back here on YouTube doing videos actually. And it's great to be doing them. It's great to be seeing some feedback from people like yourselves who have waited for so long for me to come back. So until next time, you keep shooting, you have fun, you take care, and I will see you very, very soon. Until then, cheerio. I'm going to take one more actually. Thanks for watching everyone, wherever you are. Orkney has been fun. Until next time, we'll see you soon.